The storm that changed everything. The rain hammered against the windows of Jake Mitchell's modest blue house like nature's own percussion section. He stood at the kitchen sink, washing the dinner dishes while his 8-year-old daughter Emma played with her small terrier puppy, Charlie, in the living room. The warm light from their single-table lamp cast a golden glow through their small home, creating pockets of comfort against the stormy night outside. Jake dried his hands on a worn dish towel and glanced at the clock. 8:30, almost time for Emma's bedtime story. These quiet evening routines had become precious to him over the past 3 years, ever since his wife died in a car accident. Back then, he never imagined he would be raising Emma alone while working double shifts at the construction site just to keep their small house. Money was always tight. Jake counted every dollar, clipped every coupon, and bought Emma's clothes from thrift stores. But he made sure she never felt poor in the ways that mattered. Their home was filled with laughter, bedtime stories, and the kind of love that couldn't be purchased. Emma's smile was worth more than any treasure to him. The storm outside grew fiercer, and Jake noticed the lights flickering. He made a mental note to check the flashlight batteries before bed. Living paycheck to paycheck meant that even small emergencies, like power outages, required careful planning. A sharp knock at the front door cut through the sound of rain and wind. Jake frowned, glancing at Emma, who looked up from playing with Charlie. Who would be out in weather like this? He moved to the window and peered through the curtains. On his small front porch stood a young woman, maybe in her early 20s, soaked to the bone and shivering. Her blonde hair was plastered to her head, and her light blue clothes were completely drenched. Jake opened the door immediately. Good heavens, you're soaking wet. Are you okay? The girl looked up at him with grateful but weary eyes. I'm so sorry to bother you. My car broke down about a mile up the road, and my phone died. I've been walking in this storm for over an hour. I saw your light and... Her voice trailed off as she shivered uncontrollably. Don't apologize, Jake said quickly, stepping back. Come in, come in. You'll catch pneumonia out there. He called over his shoulder, Emma, could you grab one of our big towels from the bathroom? The young woman stepped inside, water dripping onto their small entryway rug. I'm Sarah, she said through chattering teeth. I don't want to impose. I just need to use a phone to call for help. I'm Jake, and this is my daughter Emma, he said as Emma appeared with a fluffy towel and handed it to Sarah with a shy smile. And don't worry about imposing. Nobody should be out in this storm. Sarah wrapped the towel around herself, and Jake noticed she was quite pretty despite being drenched. There was something refined about her, even in her bedraggled state. Her clothes, though simple, seemed well made. But more than that, she had kind eyes and a gentle way of speaking to Emma. Our phone line went down about an hour ago, Jake explained apologetically. The storm knocked out half the neighborhood. But you're welcome to stay until the weather clears up. I can drive you wherever you need to go in the morning. Sarah's eyes widened with surprise. You would do that? You don't even know me. Jake shrugged, as if the decision was obvious. You're in trouble, and we can help. That's what people do for each other. Emma tugged on Jake's sleeve. Daddy, she's all wet and cold. Can she have some of my hot chocolate? That's a wonderful idea, sweetheart, Jake smiled. Sarah, I hope you like instant hot chocolate. It's not fancy, but it's warm. As Jake busied himself in the kitchen preparing the drink, Sarah knelt down to Emma's level. Is this your puppy? She asked, gently petting Charlie. His name is Charlie, Emma said proudly. Daddy got him for me from the animal shelter. He was the smallest one there, and nobody wanted him because he's not perfect. But Daddy says that's exactly why we should love him more. Sarah glanced at Jake with new appreciation. Your daddy sounds very wise. Over the next hour, the three of them sat in the living room, sharing stories and hot chocolate. Sarah learned that Jake worked in construction and that Emma loved to draw pictures of animals. Jake learned that Sarah had been traveling, though she was vague about the details of where she was going or why. What struck Jake most was how naturally Sarah connected with Emma. She listened intently to his daughter's rambling stories about school and her friends. She admired Emma's drawings with genuine enthusiasm, not the polite interest of most adults. She even helped Emma teach Charlie a new trick, both of them laughing when the little dog finally managed to shake hands. You're really good with kids, Jake observed as Emma ran to get her favorite book to show Sarah. Sarah's smile seemed a little sad. I don't get to spend much time around children. My life is complicated. But Emma is special. You've done an amazing job raising her. Jake felt a warmth in his chest that had nothing to do with the hot chocolate. She's the best thing in my world. Everything I do is for her. When bedtime arrived, Jake apologized for their lack of guest accommodations. I can sleep on the couch, and you can have my bed, he offered. Absolutely not, Sarah insisted. You've already done more than enough. The couch is perfect. Jake brought her a clean blanket and pillow, both slightly worn but freshly washed. Sarah accepted them gratefully, touched by the genuine care in this stranger's hospitality. Jake, she said quietly, why did you let me in? You don't know anything about me. I could be anyone. Jake considered her question seriously. I suppose that's true, but you know what I saw when I opened that door? Someone who needed help, and Emma saw it too. She's got good instincts about people. He paused. Besides, I'd hope someone would do the same for Emma if she ever needed it. Sarah nodded, feeling something shift inside her chest. Thank you for everything. The next morning dawned bright and clear, the storm having washed the world clean. Jake was making pancakes when Sarah emerged from the living room, looking much better after a night's rest. I called my family, she said. They're sending a car to pick me up. Emma looked disappointed. Do you have to go? I wanted to show you more of Charlie's tricks. Sarah knelt down and hugged Emma gently. I have to go, but I'll never forget you or Charlie. You've both been wonderful to me. 20 minutes later, a sleek black car pulled up to their modest house. The driver, in an expensive suit, got out and opened the door for Sarah. Jake watched from the window, suddenly understanding that there was much more to Sarah than he had realized. Before getting into the car, Sarah turned back to Jake and Emma, who had come out to say goodbye. Jake, she said, her voice emotional, last night was the first time in years that someone showed me kindness without knowing who I was or what I could do for them. You and Emma gave me something I didn't even know I was missing. She reached into her purse and pulled out a business card. My name is Sarah Harrison. My father owns Harrison Industries. When I told him about what you did for me, he insisted I give you this. Jake looked at the card, confused. It had an address and a phone number. There's a job waiting for you at our company, if you want it, Sarah continued. Good pay, full benefits, and you'd be home every evening with Emma. My father believes in people who show real character. Jake stared at the card, hardly believing what he was hearing. Sarah, I don't know what to say. Say you'll think about it, Sarah smiled. Good people like you deserve good things to happen to them. As the car drove away, Emma took her father's hand. Daddy, was Sarah like a fairy godmother? Jake looked down at his daughter, then at the card in his hand, and finally at their small blue house that had sheltered a stranger in a storm. Maybe she was, sweetheart, he said softly. Maybe she was. The kindness they had shown to a stranger in need had opened a door to a future Jake had never dared to imagine. But more than that, it had reminded him that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply see another person's humanity and respond with your heart.